So what I'm going to be doing is going over just some like really basic things as far as like any percent goes. So just like things that either were like kind of recent or maybe like things that are like kind of more difficult to pick up on or things that you should maybe try integrating into your run. Like certain lineups and stuff like that are pretty important. I should actually move the chat box, I think, just because it's going to be overlaying. Okay. So, pretty much the first thing... I also have two separate videos, so I have like... in case I need to reference my older PB, then I can go to this one because I did miss a few things in my run last night. So just starting off, aggro can be in like a weird position. I had to reset here. I completely forgot to take that out. So when you start, aggro can be in like one of many positions. So aggro can like be over here or like up here, and sometimes like aggro just like straight up won't turn when you jump on her, so it can be kind of annoying. So that's just something worth like noting. Although I guess it's not that big of a deal, but so for this like first jump here, I wait a second before I rear because there's actually like a small chance. Oh, my starting soon thing is still on the fucking screen. Oops. So there's a chance here that aggro will just like turn left or right if you rear immediately. So I kind of just like wait a second to rear again. And what I do is I aim for like this section right here and then kind of like tilt my control stick so I can grab onto here. Because you seem to launch higher when you hit here, I think. And then you kind of like can use your momentum to go there. I forget where I did it in this one. I think I usually do it in the same spot, so this one was like 5 months ago, so this should be kind of the same thing. Okay, yeah, see, like, I kind of switched that up. I don't go here anymore on this side because, like, you can just, like, get caught under that thing. Yo, what up, Habibi? But yeah, I generally aim for this area now, and then sometimes you get lucky enough to where you just, like, you just fly up and you don't even have to grab the ledge, you just, like, kind of land right there. So that's pretty neat. Everything here is pretty simple. One thing to note is that whistling gets you up to max speed after like a roll or something. So pretty much anytime you see me jump or roll, whenever I land, I always like whistle or call for aggro because it catches you up to max speed. Switching weapons also catches you up to max speed as well. So you could do that if you'd like. I do that sometimes when I know I need to have a certain weapon out, so. So this stuff's pretty basic. If you're lucky right here, you could actually like get really far on your first jump. But a lot of times when you try to cut this angle really hard, you'll just like smack right into this section here. So that can be kind of unfortunate, but and then just like a charge jump from right around this section should be a perfect cling onto the ledge there. So at the start of Valis, you want to like literally whistle immediately. If you don't whistle immediately, he'll take an extra step and he'll be further away from you by the time you get there. And you have to wait for him to put his foot down so you can jump on it. So this is like pretty simple. There is a way, I think if you let go at a certain time, if you don't have if you don't have the oh wait, no, you have to have the dormant hints enabled. If you have the dormant hints enabled and you do this, you can actually completely skip this cutscene. I don't actually have an example of that, but pretty much you can run freely while Valis is like falling if you do it correctly. And that makes it easier for newer players, but it also makes it so there's a cutscene that you have to skip a little bit later on. But I guess it's not really a big deal since we use in-game time now. So yeah, you do Valis like normal. I'm not gonna go over how to actually do the Colossi, just because that's kind of it's kind of redundant for the most part. One thing I will say though is if you want to have a better Valis time, you want to try to get onto his neck area right here instead of like on the brim. But that's kind of like, since you can't see yourself, sometimes it's kind of hard to do. But, yeah. So one thing to note, in-game time does track, or at least for any percent, it does track where you can move wander. So for the most part, unless I'm like doing something, like I don't know, like I need to take a drink of water, I'm always trying to move to where the tendrils will hit the fastest. And I kind of fucked up there, but for Valis, it's like kind of on his back. So, for future reference. So, Quadratus. Also, getting out of the temple can be kind of hard. There's a really nice angle that you can hit, though, where it looks like you're going to run into this pillar, but you kind of just, like, skip right past it. And you could actually just make it out in one go. So that's nice whenever you get it. So there's this cutscene here, and when you skip the cinematic, you immediately want to mash the button to hop off of aggro, and then run back and get back on immediately. Because if you try to rear right away, aggro will like not go anywhere and just kind of stand in place. So that's why we do that. No carryovers? I don't know, maybe not. It's at a weird time of the night, so. So it's kind of hard to see, but like, I guess when you're going up to this portion here, I always aim for this section right here. If you're feeling particularly risky, or not even really risky, I just think this way is faster for me personally. But I try to land towards this end section here, because if I do that, then I'm safe up there. If you land, let's see here, let's see if I can get a good visual of it. If you land like over here in this section, or like further over this way, you won't be able to like stand up without like stumbling, and you'll eventually like stumble off. You have to like mash jump, and then you have to jump at the right time. So there's like this I know Distortion does it, but basically if you jump off at the right time from over here and the cutscene starts playing, you can immediately skip the cutscene and you'll be in midair and you'll like land on Quadratus faster. But I prefer to do it this way because I'm used to it from Time Attack. So pretty much I jump off and try to get myself like stuck on this portion, like I'm holding this direction. Hold on, let me change my chat box to be a little bit higher up here. Okay, so I'm basically holding in this direction over here. So that way Quadratus moves out a little bit further and I end up further towards the back. And I can grab onto this and cancel any fall like animation or any landing animation. So that's pretty much it for quad. You just do quad like normal. You get the cycle stabs in. This part's really easy. Quad will like never shake as long as you just keep going. And then you try to get the plant, which I did not get the plant first time. So, anything for Gaius? Yeah, there is actually something for Gaius. So, on your way to Gaius, there's like a rock up here that's like really fucked. It's right here. So, if you're over in this direction, like aggro will just like stop and like stop dead in her tracks, and then you like if you try to rear from the same spot, the same thing will happen, so you have to like slowly walk around it. So I just try to go in between these two rocks and it generally works out. So the reason I go this way is because if you go towards the inner part, aggro will straight up run into this wall over here if you try going around this way. So it's better to just cut through the water. And then I try to go as far this way on the coast as possible because it's closer to here. But if you go too far, you kind of have to swim back just a little bit. So right about where I jumped, I could have probably jumped a little bit later and been fine. So this part right here, I kind of jump and whistle because if you're going up a slope, I think jumping and then landing and whistling is faster. Just because the amount of, like, jumping takes you further than running for the most part, and it's easier to do up a slope because if you hold the button for a little bit longer than just like a short tap, then you'll jump a little bit higher and it actually will be a little bit slower. So for the most part, I like to jump and whistle up this thing. These things don't really matter. You don't have to jump up them if you don't want. You just kind of run up them anyway. So this jump right here actually is annoying for a lot of people. You don't want to wait till you're by this like ledge area to jump. You want to jump from like right here. If you wait, then Wander will like autocorrect this way or this way, and you'll just straight up like miss this thing entirely. So I kind of jumped a little late, but you can like jump from like here if you really wanted to. So this part's a little tricky. I try to get around this area. It sometimes like depends, like it could be like inches from where you're hanging on, where you actually will end up on this platform. But for the most part, if you just do a jump and then hold the grab button, a lot of the times Wander will like teeter and then fall off and you'll be able to grab it. And then sometimes you'll just straight up land up here. So it's nice when that happens. And that's why you saw me crouch there, is because I was holding R1. Because I've done it many times where I've done that and then just like fallen off. So this part's kind of weird, as you can see. So when you go to get up this thing, if you're not directly in the middle and you try using your jump button to like jump up to this area, you'll just like do this weird animation where you're just like standing on this thing. So in order to like combat that, I just kind of like let go of the grab button sometimes, like if I know I'm not directly in the middle, and you can stand on that and then just jump up. So the important thing about Gaius, for me personally, this is what makes this strategy easier. I know Marcelo right now is doing something, he's doing like the IL strategy, so if you want a lineup for that, you'd have to go check out his channel. It's the Colossus Records is his channel. When he streams, he does a different method, so you can check that out. So what I do when I start is I immediately run like diagonally left and forward, and I try to stop around like this area. Because the way this platform is, you can see it's like tilted. That's like naturally how it is. What's up, Sippy? Sorry, I didn't catch your message until now. But basically, it's like slanted. So based on where you are. Yo, Sippy, thank you so much for the 6 months. Damn, that's a long time, man. I appreciate it. Also, I don't know why that wasn't very loud. My alert box should be way louder than that. I probably could turn down the music a bit. I don't know. Either way. So you just want to go ahead and line up where I'm lining up. And since it's like slanted based on where you are, Gaius will be in like a different spot or will be like in a weird position. So I've also seen times where if you don't run up far enough or if you're like too far back or something, he'll like one of his feet will be on the platform and he'll kind of like when he pulls his sword up it'll kind of be like glitchy. So yeah, you just kind of want to make sure you're in the right spot here, and then it's pretty basic from here. So if you want to figure out how to do Gaius, we have like a lot of guides on that, so I'll go ahead and skip that. And again, once Gaius is dead, you just want to run towards the tendrils at the end. So alright, Sipple, have a good rest of your drive tomorrow, man. Or tonight, or whenever you're heading out. So that's it for Gaius. Gaius is like one of the ones that I was having trouble with for a while because I had like a really weird lineup. So I ended up fixing it. So Phaedra is one that kind of like... that kind of troubles me a bit. It gives me a little bit of trouble. So I have to figure out a new way for it to like to work out, but I don't know. I'll do that some other time. A new lineup that works better for me. A lot of people actually do Phaedra the way that they do it in this any percent, so it's not really like a hard lineup to get, I guess. So this portion right here, this gets you like probably like this gains you like a second or two every time, and there's like no reason not to go for it. You just want to take aggro over these rocks, and aggro will kind of like run a little bit faster. It's called rock boost is what we call it. It's kind of like a meme, but it's still like it's still useful, I guess, because it saves you 1 or 2 seconds, so you might as well go for it. So you see, once I go over this one, aggro starts running a little bit faster for a moment. Sometimes you can get rock boost and like run all the way down the ramp, so that's pretty rare. So for Phaedra, you pretty much just want to like be in this general area when you cross. I try to go really wide because I want a certain camera angle, but I didn't end up getting the camera angle anyway, so. So basically when Phaedra starts, aggro, I wait till aggro stops like moving or like is pretty much done moving, and then I just start mashing X to go, or mashing the go button. And then from there on out, Phaedra is pretty simple. So after Phaedra is dead, you want to run towards its like back area. I think is like the best place to go, like right around here. Alright, so next up we have Avion. I don't think there's anything too special about Avion, honestly. Getting to Avion is pretty simple. Yeah, you just kind of like want to jump off before you get too close to these rocks, because aggro will like kind of turn and you'll get like a really bad jump. I think this jump I get is really bad. Yeah, that's a really bad jump. So I guess for these things, what I generally do is I like let it charge to like a very minuscule amount and then jump off and regrab. I think it's faster going up 2 than going up 1, personally. I think that was a little slow too. I think I could have done that faster. So you always like kind of want to have your bow out here because it makes things a lot easier, because as soon as you skip this cutscene, you can move forward like a really minuscule amount and then just like tap jump and you'll like go into the water really fast. And then the rest of Avion is pretty simple. There's no need to really explain anything because we already have guides on like how to do all these. So the place, I mean, this is pretty obvious, but once you spawn, once you like are in this section after you kill Avion, you just want to hold down the button that aims you towards the Colossus and just like swim towards it, and you'll get to the tendrils as fast as possible. Barba. So we could talk about the forest a little bit. You could probably get the route down just by like watching the run. But one thing that's important that I actually don't do here, I wonder if I do it in the other one. Where's Barba? That's not Barba. There's Barba. So I don't know if I do it in this one or not. But basically, if you can rear aggro 3 times and you can get through the forest a little bit quicker. In my recent PB, I didn't do it. In this one, it looks like I do. So yeah, you can rear aggro 3 times. As long as you know where you're going, you should be fine. But it can get a little rough. Like, it can get a little hard to actually do, so. See, like, this happens. I don't know why continuously. If you... Okay, so the reason that happened is because when you rear and aggro is in this like grassy area, aggro will just like not go anywhere and like will be too scared to go anywhere. And on top of that, if you try hitting the go button again after you do that, aggro will just like straight up like keep doing the same thing, so. Yo, what's up, Schmorgus? I'm doing pretty well. Thanks for asking. How are you? So yeah, you don't want to just like keep mashing X here after you rear, because you just fuck yourself up. So if you get to a safer spot to where you can rear aggro at Twitch, I think I do here. Maybe. I don't know. So it looks like I was kind of like freaked out by it, so I got to a spot where I could rear and safely get through the trees, so. That's pretty much all I think all you need to know for Barba. Well, I guess there's like, for the forest, I guess, but for Barba it's kind of different. So you want to launch off about here and then whistle as soon as you land to cancel like the landing animation. What I do here is I jump forward and then I let go of the control stick and it lets you like kind of like jump again really fast. Yeah, the forest sucks, but if you know how to control it, like you're fine, so. So pretty much you just kind of like, if you reset the control stick after you jump, you can like kind of jump again like really fast. And you don't move forward at all when you land. So that's what makes it good. And you kind of like do it here. I kind of messed up because there's like a little hole in the ground that I stumbled on. You'll just notice I whistle every single time I jump or roll. For this portion here, if you roll into the ledge, you get there a little bit faster and you can just hit jump. So that's kind of what that is. It doesn't like really save that much time. I roll here because I think it always lines you up in this spot right here. And then from there on out, it's just basic Barba. You just do what you do normally. And note for a lot of these fights, you have to, like, if you mess up, you kind of have to like innovate on how to get back. There's not really like set strategies a lot of the time because like sometimes you'll be in like different positions. So you just want to make sure that you kind of are aware of what's going on and how to get back to where you need to be, unless you just reset. So there's that. So Hydrus is an important one because not a lot of people that do any percent actually go for the Hydrus lineup. So I guess this is going to be like one of the more important ones to learn. So one thing I've noticed, I think I messed it up here, but as I skip forward a little bit. So right here, If you go over this at a certain angle, aggro will not like actually stop running. I don't know if I actually do this here or not. So yeah, aggro like started like walking slowly here. Let me see if it happens in the other video. Okay, so in this one, yeah, aggro will almost certainly. Okay, yeah, so right there you can see aggro didn't slow down. So there's like really certain spots where like aggro just like won't slow down. And I think I'm gonna use this video for my Hydrus lineup just because I think it's a lot easier to like see what's happening in this one if I remember correctly. So going into this cutscene here, I don't try to go like absolutely full speed because if you do, wander or aggro will do like a quick stop. So I kind of go in slowly and I let aggro kind of slow down a little bit. Oh, I messed up here. This is what happened. So this is what happens if you like mess up and you can't get aggro to stop. You just kind of want to like line up a jump to where you land literally like right here. So you'll see like it kind of makes like a U shape here. I kind of want to be right here, like in between the U shape. Because if you land here, this is about where you are in the time trials. So that's what I try to line up with the most. So I swim a little bit forward, and yeah, like right here, you kind of like, if you imagine this as a circle, like you kind of just want to be like on the outside of the circle. And so once this starts, I don't know how long I wait here. Okay, so I generally wait until like halfway here, until this fin and this fin are like a halfway distance in between. Yeah, Hydrus is hard to get used to, especially 90%. So halfway, like when this pillar is halfway in between this fin and this fin is generally the time you want to go. And when you want to stop, and you want to swim, obviously, like if you know how to do Hydrus, like you know that you swim directly towards this pillar. And then when you want to stop is when you see Hydrus start turning, and then you just stop. And it's kind of lenient. You can stop like as soon as he starts turning, or just like a brief moment after. But after that, you just do the basic Hydrus stuff, and you'll see, like, you'll notice that this lineup looks good as he's coming up, so. And then in the other one, you can kind of see I get the aggro portion correctly, but I don't get the lineup perfectly. So it takes me a little while to get aggro adjusted, but this jump is a whole lot easier when you use aggro for it. Also, one thing to note, if you're like literally in this area right here, if you're too close to this pillar, the camera will just like completely screw up on you. So the camera will want to kind of like autocorrect. Hold on, let me see what's going on with this. Anyway, so the camera will like autocorrect and it'll just like really mess up your positioning and you won't be able to like turn it to where you want to turn it. It'll keep autocorrecting. So it makes things really difficult if you're like really close to this pillar. So I definitely recommend staying a little bit farther away from the pillar than you think is necessary. And as long as you don't swim at too sharp of an angle, like towards the pillar, then you should be fine, as long as you do the lineup correctly. So here, I think the issue was I swam a little bit too far left of the pillar, and so that's why Hydrus is in a weird spot. Or I might have left like a brief, I think I left maybe a little bit too late. I think that's what it was. I still was able to get it though, so you can kind of see, like, normally when you do Hydrus properly, you'll see he starts turning right here, and you can see his eye the entire time as it like curves right before the pillar. But this version of Hydrus goes like kind of past the pillar and comes back in, which I guess is fine. I don't know. I didn't think it was fine. I thought this was kind of like a messed up lineup, but you'll see it worked out in the end. So that's pretty much Hydrus right there. Let me go ahead and pull up a different OST. I'll pull up my favorite. There we go. So that's about it for Hydrus. I guess one thing to note that a lot of people don't talk about is for your last stab, so you do 4 stabs here. So 3 stabs, I go to this side, and then Hydra starts like turning like inwards, and it makes this stab on this side really hard. So it's easier just to run to this side and get the last stab. So I don't think anyone's ever actually like discussed that before, but it's pretty easy. Hydrus, you pretty much want to stay in place because Hydrus is right below you. So Kuramori, this one's a little interesting. I did end up doing testing on the area to get to Kuramori. So once you get inside the cave, it's probably faster here to rear aggro, but it's way more risky. So if you're feeling like risky, you want to save some time or whatever, if you rear aggro, it's obviously faster than aggro, like just walking like this. But it's still faster to use aggro. See, I wait till I got to a safe spot to do it. And then the path I generally take is like right next to this tree. I mess it up a little bit though in this video. I'll go a little bit too far left. You kind of want to keep over here. So I lost time to that, unfortunately. I think in this one I do it properly. Yeah, so I cut a little bit further in towards the tree in my last video, which actually saved time. And then you'll see this rock here, you just kind of want to like head towards it. And then you just keep cutting corners because you're allowed to be in this section of the water and not have to use your swim, so. So for the leading up to it, just jumping and whistling, obviously, the fastest way of moving. Yeah, Hydrus is like tough to stay on sometimes. You always want to remember that there's a huge gap there, so you just jump the gap. So for this section, the pillar, some people, you can actually jump from like right here and land on here and go, and it might be faster that way. I'm not entirely sure though. All I know is if you're on this top one and you just do like a regular like back facing jump, like you'll just be able to land on it and go, so. Then you just do curl like normal. Let's see. Okay, so Bassarin is like the other really important one. From the second to last pillar into a roll. You go from the second to last pillar into a roll. Okay, I see what you mean. Yeah. So for Bassarin, the route's kind of weird. I'm not good at like routing. I think my route's probably very suboptimal here. So I kind of think I need to change it, but I go over that little portion there. Yeah, I when you said pillar, I didn't know what you meant, but I kind of connected the dots. So sometimes if you cut this corner too close, aggro will just like swerve inwards, and that's really annoying. You can always just jump off this portion though, if you need to. So then I go around this ledge because there's not really a good spot for aggro to jump off of. And I think it's still faster than going around the other way, so. So this is the important part, the lineup. When you're heading towards the cave, I stay a little bit right of this geyser. And then I try to line myself up like pretty much in between these two trees right here. So there's a huge gap in between. And I try to stay in the middle of it, maybe a little bit to the middle right. So just pretty much when the cutscene starts, so you're just like on the very far left of the screen. And then you skip the cinematic, and it's really important here to just wait. So the moment you want to wait for... I'll put it in a little bit slower, I guess. I could do that. That's pretty cool. So, Bassaran will move forward. When this leg comes down, when it hits the ground, you want to rear. Yo, what up, hype? So, when this leg hits... Let's go ahead and watch it in real time, actually. Your family has always had a feud with Bassaran. I don't know what that means. Okay, so you'll see he takes a step here, and then when this foot hits down, you rear. And what this does is it allows you kind of want to jump towards this section right here. And you'll be able to like, kind of like magnet hands on. And from this point forward, you'll... So if you land here, this is where you want to be in the first place. Yo, that's what's up, man. So you kind of want to... You want to be in this spot because you need... How do I word this properly? You're wanting to space out your moves so that way you're jumping at the exact right time. So you use a shimmy to the left as like a time signature, pretty much. So I move over it once. And then I hold charge till it's almost full, and then that kind of like gets me in the spot to where I can do the side jump there. So, but that part's gonna be all feeling. The most important part is just making sure you give yourself enough time to move left one. And if you do end up right here, you want to move right one. Obviously, this is like the prime spot. If you end up landing here, which can happen because the game is kind of like weird, what you can do is you can switch weapons to your sword, and that takes about as much time as just moving over one. So if you end up landing here, instead of moving anywhere, if you just want to switch to one of your weapons, then you can do the jump like I did here. So that's pretty much how you do Bassaran and any percent. That's like the lineup. That's the most important thing. So, damn, I'm really sad about this Bassaran. It could have been better. So that's like one of the more important ones. I think my route to Dirge could be a lot faster. I'm not sure exactly which way to go, but whatever. Yeah, Bassaran is always the worst. So I don't think there's anything too special about Dirge. There's this part right here. If you try cutting this corner a little too close, aggro will just like straight up fucking like run this way, and you won't be able to get over there. So you want to go around it a pretty decent amount. And you can see aggro, when I got too close, aggro straight up just jetted to the right there. So going around this cave can be kind of hard. You want to avoid this, like, you just want to, like, avoid everything at all costs, because aggro will just, like, aggro will take control and just run you into a wall, so what I try to do for this lineup is I try to go, it's hard to say, like, I try to, like, miss this pillar by a little bit, this little tiny one. I just kind of want to curve around and kind of, like, yeah, it's hard to describe, but you kind of want to, like, curve around that pillar a little bit. And then what you want to do as soon as you spawn in, you want to be holding the button to look at the Colossus, because then it's easier to see exactly where it's going and where like you need to go, because in the time attacks you want to be left of this pillar to meet up with them. So I just start mashing the button to go as I'm holding L1, so I know exactly where he's going. At this point I know where he's at, so I don't hold L1 anymore. And then you just do Dirge like normal. Okay, so Celosia, I actually need to use my previous video because I messed it up in this video. Or I messed it up in my PB, so that's a feels bad, man. Okay, so when you're on your way to Celosia, the important thing to note is you want to be coming from the right side of this cliff here, and you want to be heading straight towards this bush. So if you kind of are like cutting at an angle like this right here, like this is like the perfect angle, and you don't want to wait too long. You want to jump off like right here before you hit the bush. And as long as you're right here in this section and you're holding R1, you'll fall and you'll be able to grab this ledge right here. So we can go ahead and watch that like in normal speed. So the lineup for that jump is the important part. And if you mess it up, you just have to run around and come in through here and climb up like I did in my PB, so. That's pretty much Celosia. There's not really much to go over after that. So Pelagia is a pretty important one. Once you enter Pelagia's forest, you want to like cut right immediately. You just want to like stick to this wall. Yeah, dude. Instagram, like, having to, like, shill yourself on Instagram kind of sucks. So, but yeah, you just want to kind of hug this wall. You can go actually on the other side of that rock if you wanted to. But if you hug the wall, you'll be fine. And then I stop right here and just start rearing, because there's a pretty good distance and it's pretty safe to do. So, and if you're feeling risky again, you can rear here as well. But, like, it's really hard to, like, navigate aggro through here, so you end up losing time if you run into a wall, so that's why I just didn't do it. So right here actually is a really poor jump by me. You can like run off at a further angle and like grab right here, but I didn't run off at a good enough angle, so I ended up smacking right into the pillar and grabbing right there. Some of these rocks will trip you up, so just remember to be like mashing the whistle button. Like that right there. Like if I was mashing the whistle button, I would have recovered like instantly from that. So. And then anytime you hold down jump, you go higher and like you get a little bit more floaty. So you just want to tap jump. Like I messed up there. I shouldn't have held jump down. It doesn't actually really get me any further or any faster. So this is the important part of Pelagia. We'll go back a little bit. So you pretty much don't. If you are too close to this, to like this middle portion here, it might mess you up a good amount. So I'll try to explain it a little bit. I don't have an example on hand, but... So what I do is I kind of run this way, because if you get too close, Pelagia will do something entirely different. So I run to about like halfway between like here and here. And I charge a full arrow. As soon as I can, I shoot at Pelagia's face. And then I charge another full arrow. And when Pelagia starts looking towards you, that's when you fire the second one. And then you run up and you try to grab here, because grabbing in the middle is like way too hard to do. So that's the lineup for that. That's like the time attack lineup. You can get up the face a little faster, but it's kind of risky, so I don't know. I have to learn how to do this a little bit better. And then from then on, it's just a normal Pelagia. Failing's pretty much the same thing as Barba, the same way of getting through the forest. One kind of hard thing to do is when you get to this like section here, you kind of want to like slow down a little bit, or else this will happen when you go into the cutscene. Like, aggro will be all the way over here and it's kind of hard to get out. And then I messed up my arrow shots, but... So if you end up like watching like an NTA video, or like if you watch like the guide to how to do phalanx, then the arrows are pretty much the exact same. So this Phaedra was really slow, unfortunately. So the fastest way to get to Zenobia is to go through Bassaran's area, by the way. Also, like I said, aggro around here can just kind of like troll you. Like aggro just like completely ran left on me there. There's nothing really special to note. If you like need to know they're out, you could just watch the video. Yeah, Atlas, you're missing some 90% tips. I'm almost all the way through it. But don't worry though, I'm gonna save this as a highlight and I'm gonna upload it to the guide section of SRC, so you can watch it all again. Setting any more world records? I don't know. I was thinking about getting on Under Night and Birth and labbing out some training mode stuff. Get some practice in for Combo Breaker, but so this is all pretty simple. You just kind of want to like stick close to the corners. Yeah, I should mute it, but that's whatever. It's not a big deal. Dropping a doogie. What up, Kotatsu? So right here is kind of important. If you just jump like normal, you don't need to yeah, I know it's in the world record video. Whatever. It's kind of funny. Like, it's funny that it happened. It's not funny, like, the content itself wasn't funny, but whatever. Oh, me? Oh, I have a Majino session, baby. But, if you just do a full jump here, you don't need to grab onto any ledges, so you can kind of, like, save a few seconds. And then that run up there, the pillar, on the left-hand side, you can just run. You don't need to jump for that, so he just kind of glitches his way up there. This all is pretty like self-explanatory. This is just normal stuff. So as you can see, I fucked up a lot. I'll just go ahead and go towards Argus. So going towards Argus, you can save like a good amount of time if you can cut into this area really well, but it's hard to do. Just remember that there's like an extra little section here that's kind of hidden behind this, so you can like straight up face plant into it. I got a pretty good like spot here, so not too worried about it. The run up is just normal. It almost doesn't matter where you start, you're gonna end up in the same spot. So if you just like run directly in the middle of this section, you'll end up in the same spot that you do in NTA. And then everything is pretty normal from there. As long as you just run to this side immediately and get them to stomp, like, you're doing it correctly, so. Although, you do have more time in the beginning of this fight. So if you run up too far, he'll do a different attack and you can, like, mess yourself up. Just remember to stay by this ledge here, and you'll be fine. Also, yeah, one important thing to note, I think, let's see. After this disappears, your stamina bar, I think that's when the timing stops for in-game time. So all of this is not being recorded in the in-game time, so. Oh, it's not, I'm just listening to a soundtrack right now. I'm not listening to any playlist or anything. So the rest of Argus is pretty normal. Wait, you know about the Knuckles Chaotix soundtrack, dude? The soundtrack's fire. It's like the best part of the game, by far. Oh, I'm just listening to it on YouTube. This song is really good. So Malice, I don't think there's anything super noteworthy. Okay, so I do something a little different when I get to Malice. If you're lucky, aggro won't like slow down at one of these portions, but sometimes he does. So this is what I do. A lot of people will stay on aggro and they'll immediately line this up. It can be hard to line it up, and at the same time, if you do get it, aggro will just like run into the gate and like turn this way, and you'll be like really in a weird position. So what I do is I just jump off of aggro, because aggro will go ahead and like stop, and you don't have to worry about like turning all the way around. So as long as you're holding on to the button afterwards to get to aggro, you just get on aggro and you can rear and go through. So Distortion does something in his PB where he actually like clips up here with aggro. It's like really hard to do, but you can clip up here with aggro and aggro will keep her momentum instead of what she normally does, which is go really slow here. So that can be like a little bit of a time save. Bible thumps. So, okay, this is where I normally grab. I actually try to grab like right here, as close to this edge as possible, because it lines you up. Actually, no, I should be a little bit left. I should be a little bit further left, because it actually lines you up perfect, and you can grab onto this ledge from that jump. Otherwise, it just kind of like fucks you up, and this shit happens. So yeah, the proper lineup spot for me personally is like right here. So I should be like right here instead. Yeah, but aggro doesn't die. This is all pretty normal stuff. If you just go up 2 at a time, you end up in a perfect spot. So, and then you just do everything like normal. I actually mess up here. I'll show you an example where I don't mess up, but I think it takes less time after you kill Malice. So after Malice dies and the tendrils come out, if you don't press any buttons, you'll land on his bracer up here, and it'll take less time for the tendrils to travel to you. So I think I wasted like a second there, but I think in this one, for Malice, yeah, if you don't press anything, you just drop down and you land right there. So it takes less time for the tendrils to get to you. So that's pretty much it. With Dorman, you want to just like, you just want to be holding up. You just want to be in this section, or try to go over here or over here. And you don't want to try to like mess with these guys at all, because if you do something incorrectly, they could like have a second cycle of like shooting you, and it like loses you like a lot of time actually. So for here, there's no like real strategy for this. I just try to bunny hop as soon as I hit the ground, but sometimes it doesn't matter. So yeah, there's RNG for their arrows, which is unfortunate. If you do a good Dorman split though, it should be like exactly like 2 minutes is usually what the good Dorman split is. Like you can see here, like about 2 minutes, and my previous time before that, it was about 2 minutes. So you can see like it's not really the fastest way to travel on foot. Jump and arrow, jump and whistle. Jumping and whistling is, well, actually the fastest way, if we're being honest. Oh, he changed his name to Madarashi. Oh, well. Okay. So the fastest way is aggro surfing. Where is his palace? Alright. We'll just do speed run. Oh, you mean on the horse? On the horse, you just mash X. Actually, aggro surfing is slower, I think, than just like mashing X, but I could be wrong. I don't know. I don't think it really matters that much. Like, as long as you're mashing X while you're surfing on aggro, I think it might go the same speed. So let's see here. So this is the fastest way to move, and it's really hard to do properly. If you do it properly, it's the fastest way, but like, I don't do it because it doesn't save as much time as like as you would need. It's really good in ILs, obviously, but you basically, if you reset your stick to neutral, you can keep bunny hopping like this, and it's technically the fastest. So that's the fastest way to move, but it's really hard to do, and the reason I don't do it is because it's not necessary to like actually save like an important amount of time in a longer run. So oh, I see what you mean. I don't know why I've never seen this video before. So that's pretty much it for, that's pretty much it, honestly. There's nothing really else to go over there.